Hello, this is John Davis. The Chief Justice of the Earth Realm, and also the Empress here on Earth. You know, I see where YouTube has it that you have to go through the shorts first. Now, I noticed that didn't get started until they found out I would be speaking, exposing truth. And as I can intuitively gather, that was done solely to prevent me from speaking freely, which was to undermine truth, because these secret societies, Skull and Bones, the Masons, and others like this Spaniards, these black Spaniards, and the Moors and Muslims, and these so-called Jews, they all have an agenda to put a stranglehold on truth, because it's so much has been hidden, and the masses, many of the masses, are not aware of it. And I've been sounding my trumpet to wake people up to what's going on. Like, for instance, I've repeated this several times, for instance, this continent that's called North America, this is Africa. India and Asia exist on this continent. And like this so-called 2026, actually it's 1026. They made a calendar, and in making that calendar, they added 1,000 years to the timeline, when it clearly states in the first chapter of Genesis that the sun, moon, and stars would be for signs and for seasons and for years, months, days, and weeks, for us to keep track of time with. But they added 1,000 years to convince the Hebrews, this nation of people, that they wish to wipe off the earth, to keep them to believe that they was at a great distance, a greater distance from their ancestors than what they really were. Because whether you know it or not, in 1864, they claimed that that was the end of slavery. Slavery was coming to an end then. But that's a deception. That was the last Indian war being fought. That was the culmination of the ending of the war. And we are the Indians. You know, these so-called black people or African Americans. This is Africa, but this is Asia. So we are Afro-Asians, right? And they attributed our country name to those people over there in Hindustan. They calling that Asia, when this is really Asia here. They know it, and most of the countries of the world know it, and they know our identity. And so let me get back to the idea of YouTube switching over to shorts, when prior to that, my speaking, they had it live. Anybody could just come on live. Now I'm requesting, in fact, I'm decreeing that as an empress, I need better access than a 3 to 5 minute short to speak. So I'm decreeing that if not for all of the people who use YouTube, I'm making a decree that live broadcasting be open up to me, so I can come on and speak to the collective and the soul tribe and those others, whoever else is of good faith, without having to stop within 3 to 5 minutes, because that's very limiting for one who has a position of this nature. I need to speak to the people to get out my ideas without cutting them short and restarting and that kind of thing. That doesn't fit me well. And so I'm making videos. I've been making them for the last month, and I have about 24 or 5 in the system that I had to delete, but they are in the system here at YouTube, and I'm sure they can be reinstated, be brought back up and reloaded. But I have 8 or 9 now currently. And why the algorithm is not running them, I don't know. And I've been hearing a few on the platform saying I need to get started on planting my seeds. Well, the seeds are already planted. I've already started planting those seeds almost 2 months ago. And so they are here. But the thing is, the algorithm is not picking them up. They're being held back for some reason. And there's also been some concern. You all have to excuse my voice. I've been hit with quite a few calibrations coming from several of these platforms that was putting forth their agendas, and they were using calibration, and that was an intense energy hits on me. And also, while I was under attacks, at night when I went to sleep, I was being attacked. My throat chakra was being attacked by the dark energy workers. So I'm recovering, and it's still a bit more time to go with it. But let's get back to the fact that I need the live open up here on YouTube so I can come on and address the concerns of those who are involved in our endeavor, the collective, the soul tribe, and those others who are of good faith. I want to be able to speak to you all, and you know that I'm here to do it. I have these messages that I want to bring, that I started off, and I have about at least 35 to 40 videos now, if you count those that I have deleted here in the system of YouTube. And so if we can get that done, I would certainly appreciate it so I can come on and speak to you. Now, I've been hearing talk about my needing to do some testimony. You see, all of this stuff is new to me. I'm not familiar with what you all do and what you all expect and what you all require. If you think I know, I'm here to let you know that I don't. Not aware of it. When I was incarnated, my mission, as I understood it, was to bring balance to this earth realm and also to break the generational curses. Well, these videos that I'm making speaks to bringing the balance. Now, as to these testimonies that you speak of, what is it are you expecting? Because my videos, in each of those videos, I'm speaking of myself along with the messages that I'm bringing concerning right now the New Testament. Now, if you are seeking information concerning my ex and her attempts on my life and with the dark energy attacks that she paid people to do on me, I've spoken on that several times. And the information on that is in the video. Now, if you want to know something about my personal life, you will get that, in bits and pieces as I bring these messages. And I don't even know what you expect to know. I'm here to bring balance. I've lived right here on this continent. And I've been running research on my family because there's a lot of people walking around right now here on this continent that don't know that they are Hebrews. They don't know their national identity. They've been called black. They've been called Negro. They've been called African American. They've been called nigger. They've been called some of everything except for who they are. And those that's connected with the 12 tribes, they are Yashara'el. That's who we are. And we honor our nation, our national name. And we honor our color. This is the color the Creator chose. Right. We are chosen. That's no secret. We are a favorite. And that's no secret. And I've heard a little lightly kickback on that. But if Charles Darwin, who was an unlearned so-called evolutionist, if he could say that we were from monkeys, well, you don't think I should come out and state who we are from? If you have some issue with that, well, I don't care. It doesn't bother me about the issue you have. I'm free to say who I am, just like he was free to say who I was not. Right? And since he had so much information about the hominid Homo erectus, and then later he learned Homo sapien, then I would think that he was speaking about his own heritage, walking on four, before they became Homo sapiens. And it's a fact. This is not anything made up, and this is not me casting shade at that nation. It's a fact. Just about a year ago, right here in this country, in the news archives, the National News Archive of these three major broadcasting stations, they had two hominids walking on all four right here on national TV in the news. They were white, a male and a female, and they had been in caves. And I'm sure you'll find more of them in the caves now, just like you will probably find some giants in the caves who are afraid to come out, afraid to come to the light. Right. So this is not a criticism. These are facts. You know, I don't speak to undermine people. That's not my intent, nor is it in my nature to do that. I speak what I understand to be true. And if it's not true as I understand it, then I won't say it. Even if the truth hit me, you know, it's still true. You know, I don't claim to be perfect. I claim to live all I know how. And I claim to treat you the way I want to be treated. I claim to be in alignment with eternal law. You know, I don't claim to have any knowledge about the universe. Right. That's not, in my understanding, I see the universe as an effect. I don't see the universe as having any power at all to do anything. There's a cause that bring about all effects, right? The universe is an effect. Now, the planets or the celestial bodies that in their procession around from the North Pole, making a complete revolution, that's called a procession. Well, I don't see the universe moving the planets and the stars. I don't see that. I see that as eternal law moving these effects. These are effects. You know, they were created. The sun and the moon was put in their positions below the firmament. As stated in Genesis, the first chapter. Sun, moon, stars, they were placed in the firmament during the creation. Well, that's not the universe. The universe is the expanse of space. And just like these planets, they go through their movements and retrogrades and whatever else is associated with them, that's not the universe. And that's not the universe causing them to act. That's the eternal law. The same maker of consciousness. And people think consciousness is all, but it is not. The one law activates all movement in existence. The one eternal law. And because we're on this side, you know, I see reality and this as the unreality, which we have universal law. But universal law has its existence in eternal law. Now, all of this teaching about the universe doing this and the universe doing that, I have no understanding like that. I brought my awareness up from within me. I woke up from within, and it's exuding or emanating out from me. And everybody has that within them. I know this teaching about religion, that religion brought here over Jesus Christ, that stuff is non-existent. And they basing that on our Hebrew scriptures, which was not an event that took place. It was a prophecy that these people changed all around to make people think that that's a historical document, and it's not. No, that's a deception. There was no Jesus Christ. It was non-existent. They just made the J and the C about 400 or 500 years ago, and they claiming that some Jesus was born 2,000 years ago. That's a lie and a deception. It's diabolical. Listen, I was the one to come. I'm King David. You know, I'm the one to come. I was chosen before the foundation of the world. And I've been here many lifetimes. Now, if you're waiting on a Jesus Christ, that was only a name that these folk come up with. There is no Jesus Christ. And to tell you the truth, I'm sick of hearing that. Because they claim they came from David. I'm David, and there's no white person come from me. I know who I am. And we are the Indians. And these people calling themselves Native Americans, Native Americans, they were brought here from Hindustan in the 1770s. Right. I know the history. Also, Drop Nation here on YouTube has those books. Plenty of books over there along with videos. If you want to do some research, you can research from the work that platform has done. You can research for at least 10 years there. Right, it's filled with books that was written about the Hebrews when they discovered us over here after the ice age, after the ice melted and the ice age went away. They was able to come here and discover us here. And these so-called Native Americans did not exist here. No, they was brought here in the 1770s. We got proof of that. This is Africa. We got the maps to show with these same coastlines with many of the names over there on that continent called Africa, which is Alkebulan. They named that in the 1890s, Africa. These 10 European nations went over there and attacked that continent. The French, the English, it's just 10 Germans, all those folk went over there attacking. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. These people that come out of the caves. Right, you were in the caves now. That's the truth. Right, there's nobody making up anything. This is the truth. And we're not trying to put you down. This is just the age of revelation. Truth is coming out. There is nothing that's hidden that shall not be made known. Right, in this age. That's been hidden in secret shall be shouted on the housetop. That's in your Bible. So this is that age. That's why I'm here. That's why you see this light that I am. That's why I ascended. That's why I died, rose, and ascended. Because I am the one to come. And you all need to stop that foolishness about a Jesus Christ, because all these folk that's running these countries, these European countries, and these that are here, they already know that it wasn't no Jesus Christ. They know that. That's a prophecy. It wasn't a historical happening. That never happened. Nobody has lived during no past time. Those are prophecies. And the 12 disciples represent your 12 states of consciousness, which after you awaken, become enlightened, they are transmuted from states of consciousness into virtues. Your love, your joy, your peace, long-suffering, gentleness, meekness, faith, and all of that. You become kingdom man or kingdom woman. You become, religion would call it spiritualized. I don't like to use that word because we didn't have that word in our Hebrew teachings. We spoke of the kingdom. We didn't have a Lord. We had law, but they call it Lord. Law. Law controls everything in existence. Law. It's the law that causes everything, causes your movement. There's a scripture that says, as you so. You are the law. The Creator breathed the breath of life within man and woman, and they became a living soul. You have the Creator's essence in you. That essence is the law. As you so. As you so. You are the law. So shall you reap. So you're the law of your own existence. It was given to you from the beginning. You don't seek outside of yourself. No Jesus Christ, no prophet, no preacher, no anything. Everything is within you. It was put in you from the beginning. You want to know how I do that? I go within. You have the same power within, but you got to stop looking outside of yourself for it. There is nobody to come. It never was, because that wasn't a historical document. That's a prophecy written in allegorical language, metaphorical language, mythological language. That means that it's symbolic. They were not people, and there was no Jesus. That's a Hebrew scripture. They just changed all of the names and put them in English. That's a Hebrew prophecy written by a prophet. I am the last prophet. I'm the last Hebrew prophet. That's why I can understand the text. I can see through it. I know that it's prophecy. And I know it was prophesying my coming. You all know I'm the one to come. If I'm the one to come, it ain't no two final prophets. It ain't no Jesus Christ. All that stuff is nonsense. Now cut it out and stop teaching those lies. Now, this is the new earth coming forth, right? That means a higher consciousness is entering the earth. It's already here. It's just going to develop and expand and grow. Now, as that happens, it won't be any freedom of religion because it's just one truth. It's just one truth. That false idea about a Jesus Christ going to have to stop. And I'm being the empress of the earth. I'm going to stop it because I know it's a lie. I know it's a deception. If I'm affecting the whole world, which no person ever has done that, that should awaken you to the truth. And some of you think that there's a Yahshua. I've been hearing you. Listen, Yahshua is the one, is the Hebrew prophet that's called Joshua. They removed the Y and put a J there. But it's not a transliteration of Jesus. In other words, Jesus was never in existence. So Joshua is just Joshua, and it's Yeshua in Hebrew. But it is not the Savior, period. It's not the Hamashiach, period. So don't think that that's the same as Jesus. It has nothing to do with that English name. They're not substitutes. It's not a transliteration. In other words, it wasn't taken out of Hebrew. Yahshua was not and then made into the name Jesus. No. Joshua was at another time, has nothing to do with the New Testament teaching. Nothing. That was a prophecy of my coming. I'm the light of the world. I don't have to say it. You see it. And I know exactly who I am. And I don't need anybody to tell me. Nobody has to tell me. You see the light. You feel the shift of the room. Everybody wants this heavenly presence. Why? Because I went to heaven. I went through the 12 gates of heaven and was magnetized. That's why I have that drawing effect. Now, some of you that have left religion, I hear you out here on these platforms, you think that there's a Yeshua. Cut that out. There's no Yeshua either. Read, these people have changed our writing so much, and they got well over, they got thousands of our writing hidden. Right. They in these museums. The Vatican got them, and different places got them. Yale got them. They robbed our temple. Right. They got all our gold in Fort Knox and in other places. That's our gold that you took out of the temple in Jerusalem, the place you call in Peru. Right. That's Jerusalem. They took the P off and then start calling it Jerusalem. And those folk over there fighting think that that's Jerusalem. That ain't got nothing to do with Jerusalem. That's old Canaan that they shedding blood in. Right. That's what they do. That's why the world is in the shape that it's in. People in authority got the power that have no business with it. And that's why we are here. And this is a call for the soul tribe, the collective, the angels who are backing us up, the ancestors, the kingdom team, the creator. We know you all got our backs, but it's time for us to get busy and start creating. And let me mention this concerning my ex. I've been hearing some talk of that it's time for me to close that cycle. Well, I've asked that that cycle be closed at least 3 or 4 different times. I've asked that that one be closed with the one that's with the young lady that's called my person. I've asked that that one to be closed, and I've been waiting on the apology, which I don't really have to have the apology. I'm just ready to get on with my life because I'm sitting here on the side of a road in a travel trailer, right? I was taken out of my 3-bedroom house and I'm 500 and some miles from home. And I've been hearing you all say, come out of your comfort zone. It's not comfortable where I am. I'm not in a comfort zone. You all are sitting up at your computers at home, and I was taken away from mine, which I thought I would be only gone about 2 or 3 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks at the most. It's going on 9 months, or it is 9 months. It's going into the 10th month that I've been away. Now, I want to close the chapters, the cycles, so I can get on with my life and get comfortable. I'm out here living on edge. I don't have the stuff that I normally use while you all are living comfortably in your homes. And I've been doing work, right? You all have been seeing me get beat down, by the dark energy workers. My ex paid these dark high priestesses to hit me, to attack me. A hit been put out on me by my ex. Right? She had a catering place poisoning me. They even named the place after me. And the cooking rat poison in my food, which I ate almost 3 years, along with other substances that they were including, a couple of more substances that they were cooking into the food, giving it to me. And at the time, I was smoking weed here and there, and I understood that they had fentanyl put on the weed. I could taste the difference in it, but I didn't know what was on it until some of you psychics mentioned what they had on it, and they was trying to get rid of me, trying to kill me, and they had put a couple of hits on my life and an insurance policy, and then she was doing some kitchen poisoning and using voodoo on me, So I've been through it, and you all saw the attacks, but I was living life before you all even saw me in this light. And I was being attacked all the while during those times. And you all have spoken and commented on my ability to be resilient. But there were a time when I was being attacked when I wasn't resilient. I wasn't even aware that I was being attacked. I didn't know what it was. And I went about 15 or 20 years being attacked when I didn't even know, nor did I understand what dark energy was. Didn't even know it was possible on Earth. I didn't. I thought that was back in ancient times. But they were popping me with that stuff for 15 or 20 years. And I got taken completely down where I couldn't feel the frequency anymore. So I wasn't that resilient then. But through going through that, it taught me to get stronger, where I could be resilient. So when you all saw me being attacked, well, I had already had my lesson in that at that time. But what these cowards did here, They were attacking me while I was asleep. They wouldn't attack me in the daytime. They wait till I go to sleep, and they was attacking my throat chakra. Right. They couldn't handle me while I was awake. So they wait till I go to sleep. And I would wake up with them pulling that wave, just dangling it around. They were trying to take my life. They use all kind of spells on me. Beauty spell, sick spell, low self-esteem spell, confusion spell, hate spell, death spell, you name it. And I think it was 5 or 6 dark energy practitioners attacking. And so I was attacked, like at first around the clock, till they saw that they couldn't get me while I was awake. So they started getting me at night when I'm asleep. And it was the same thing earlier before I met you all. All of those years while I was in my teens and 20s and 30s like that, these people were attacking me when I didn't even know what the stuff was. And they had a field day with me because I didn't know what to watch for. You see? And they took me down, completely down. And I stayed down nearly 4 years without feeling the frequency. And so after that, I started learning, the people that use it. I started watching them and could recognize them and stayed away from them until I got strong. Then after a while, I started chasing them. They were running from me. Right. And that's who I'm looking for, witches and warlocks. Right. So I can take them out. Right. I'm not running from them. I'm running to them. Right. I'm looking for them. Right. If you know something, send them to me. I'll strip them of their gifts they got and put them in the ground too. Right. That's where they belong. We don't need all that here on the new earth. And those that's using it going to have to leave the earth. That's right. There's going to be peace, righteousness, and peace here on earth. Right. And those that can't get with this program, you're going to have to go. You know that, don't you? You know that. Right. You're going to have to go. The one that attacked my fated connection, you got to go. Right. You're not going to stay here. No, that's a decree for your life. And don't tell me I can't bring balance here. Right. I can take you out. Don't tell me I can't. Don't tell me because I have been taking them out. And I'm going to take some more out too if you get beside yourself. Right. This ain't no threat. This is the truth. You don't come here attacking on me and think you're going to keep living. No, it doesn't work like that. No, don't tell me nothing about the universe either. I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me anything about a God because I don't believe in a God. No, that's the language that the attackers brought here. God. We don't call nothing God. We call it the Creator. We got evidence that there's a Creator. When you see me, I'm created. I'm in existence. I'm not in a God. There is no God. All that is nonsense. The atheist has more sense than you. If you think it's a God, there is no God. It never has been. And all the language that you are using, your attackers brought that here for you. Right. They created all of that. They created that name Jesus Christ. Right. It wasn't no Jesus Christ. All that stuff is nonsense. And I'm not going to bite my tongue saying it. And you people that know it's not a Jesus Christ. All these people that's ruling these European countries, they know it wasn't. These here, they know it wasn't. Now some of the masses may not know, but these in power, they already know. They got that classified. Right. They don't want the truth to come out. Right. These Jews, right, they the one put that out. Along with some of these other folks that came out of the cave. Right. You came out of the cave. That's your heritage. And don't tell me you didn't, because it's true. I got the information. Right. I have the Akashic records. I know where you came from. You can fight it if you want to, but it's the truth. When Darwin said we came from the monkeys, we didn't fight it. We just heard he said it, but we knew better. My granddad told me when I was 12 years old that we were the Indians. And I've had a lot of other folks to tell me that since then. Yeah, we are Africans too, because this is Africa here. But we didn't come from Al-Kebalon that you call in Africa. That's Al-Kebalon. We got the 1530 and the 1548 map with mostly all those places over there on so-called Africa, right here with this coastline situated on this continent. So we are Africans, which is not this is a beautiful country. It's not a bad thing. But this is Africa. This is India, and this is Asia. Asia. That's right. And we are the Indian. We are the Hebrews. Right. We can lay claim on our nationality. We are Yashara'el. That's who we are. Not Israel. That's a misnomer that these so-called Jews created. Now you all need to read Revelation chapter 2 and 3 at verse 9 so you can keep in mind who the Jews are. And I don't want the Jews, all of the Jews, to think that I'm against them in any way. I just have to tell the truth. And I'm sure there are some people, some Jewish people who are of good consciousness that honestly living in the truest way they can. But then these that controlling the world, you ain't fit to have any power. And that's why we coming to get it out of your hand. You ain't fit to control the media. Right? Because you instigate all these wars and things, and among the nation, you create turmoil anytime you get ready to put like the rednecks against this race and this nation, and that's what you've been doing. You keep friction going at will because you're controlling the media. You put out there whatever you want, and you call yourself a Semite. A Semite. You're not a Semite. You came out of the cave. And stop saying you're a Semite. That's us. We are the Semites, not you. No. The Bible tells you what you are. It says you're from the devil. Right. It's right there in the scripture. I'm not making this up. Whatever I say, you can prove it. You're from the devil. And if the holy books say that's where you're from, well, who you going to believe? Who you going to believe? Right. So when people, this is what happens. When people are falsifying stuff and they stealing and they hiding stuff, they going to always leave some tracks. They wonder how that get left there. Well, it's a lot left there, but the people can't see it. You have to have vision to see it. That's a prophecy. The New Testament is a prophecy. The gospel is a prophecy. It has nothing to do with anybody living in any historical time. No, every one of those names in there, they were Hebrew names, but still they have the connection of what those characters mean. And you need to see the key. There's a key to understanding what each one of those names mean. Even Nicodemus, even Mary. Mary was not a person. People say they saw Mary. You ain't seen no Mary because it wasn't any Mary. It might have been Miriam, Moses' sister, but not a Mary. That's an English name, and that's a Hebrew text. That's a Hebrew prophecy. It's a prophecy. It's a prophecy, like you get your downloads, what's coming through. That's what that is. That's a prophecy that came through a prophet. It has nothing to do with anybody living at a particular time. And it's a prophecy of my coming. I'm the last Hebrew prophet. I can understand the prophecy because I'm a prophet. Yeah, there's a meaning for every one of those characters. And it's right there in the writing. But if you think it's a literal historical document, then you'll miss it because it's not. It wasn't a real death anyway. It's a transmutation. And Judas, that's a J, so you know it was a different name than Judas. But you can see his action. That represents the shadow self. Right. Judas represents the shadow self that's got to die in consciousness. Right. That's what they represent. And when you're sitting there getting rid of your shadow, doing your shadow work, you're getting rid of Judas. That's what they represent. Every character in there has its own. The key to understanding it is right there. But you have to have inner vision, inner light to see it. Every single character lets you know that it's talking about you, the individual. You are the disciple. You are the ones that have the states and stages of consciousness. Every character represents a particular state of consciousness. Andrew, dedication. Once you wake up, you become dedicated. John represents faithfulness, being faithful, being true to the cause after you awaken. Right. I demonstrate all 12 virtues. I live all 12 virtues. I live them. I don't just talk about them. I live them. Peter represents truth. That's me. I tell the truth. Right. Every one of those disciples represent what you got to wake up to within yourself. They're the 12 virtues of man, of woman. Right. Once you enlighten those virtues, those states of consciousness, they become transmuted into virtues. Right. First, you're unenlightened. Your ways and stuff, you might demonstrate fear. You might demonstrate hate. You might demonstrate malice. That stuff. But once you become enlightened, those states of consciousness become transmuted into virtues. The disciples are not people. Wake up, those are symbols. Every single character, like there's a character in there called, it's in the book of John, called Nicodemus. Now, he's supposed to have been, one of the master teachers. But he wasn't awakened to the kingdom. He didn't have an inner vision. His inner vision hadn't awakened. So he was only reading the letter of truth. Right, that's all he could do, just live at the mental level. And when he was asked, the question came up concerning being born again, he asked the question, how can a man be born again when he's old? Right? So he was living just at the mental level of understanding of the scripture. He hadn't caught the vision of the invisible kingdom. Right? So every character in there has something to do with you. What you think it was written for. They are you at a particular unfoldment in your life journey. That's what they are. They are not people. They never were people. The death which I went through, the resurrection which I went through, and it's not you don't rise in 3 days. You rise into the third dimension if you were to stay here. That 3 days represent 3 dimensions. You back into the 3 dimension. I rose back into the 3 dimension because I have a mission here. Now some people rising and going to heaven, but I rose again into 3D because I have a mission here to do, and I'm doing it now as I'm talking to you. I'm on this mission. Right, but you have to understand, unless you understand the New Testament, which is not a New Testament, they made that, they label that New Testament. Those are Hebrew scriptures. That's a Hebrew prophecy. It's a prophecy. It's not a historical event that took place. No, it has nothing to do with it. I'm a prophet, that's why I know. I'm the one to come to teach it, to open your understanding up. And there is no one greater than me that's going to come. No one greater. I am the GOAT. There's no one going to come, no one has been here that going to affect the world the way I'm affecting it right now as I speak to you. There doesn't exist. There never was a Jesus. There never was a Christ. All that stuff is nonsense. Now, as you study these videos that I'm making, you're going to see that. And you're going to be able to go into that so-called gospel, God spell. That's a God spell on our Hebrew language, on our Hebrew prophecy. That's a prophecy, people, that these people turn into something literal. It wasn't no Jesus Christ. Never existed. That's just a name. And they asked you to believe on the name. That's all it was, a name. And they just made that name in the 16th century. Right. They couldn't have made it because the symbols weren't in the world. No, 2,000 years ago. They made the J and the C in 1524. Actually, it was 524. If you deduct the 1,000 years that they added when they made the calendar. And we were supposed to tell time by the zodiac. And they changed the lettering of the zodiac. There was no C's back 2,000 or 3,000 years ago when that zodiac was made. There was no C's. So they made the Cancer, which is my sign, and they made the Capricorn, which is my soulmate sign. They were keeping up with us by reading the nativity chart. That's why I knew she was my soulmate. Right, I saw that connection. They made the 2 C's so they could keep up with us. Right. And so they had her trapped all the time. The Masons had her when I met her. Right. Yeah, I can see that, right? I can see all of that. I can see what you did. You're not hidden from me. Right. So as I see, when truth comes to light, some error is exposed. Every time you see a truth, an error shows up. You can see the error. Right. You see the error in the signs of the zodiac. There was no C back when the zodiac was made. No. They used those C's to keep up with the 2 that was supposed to, marriage supposed to take place in the stars. So they trapped my ex. I mean my person, my soulmate. They trapped her. They read our nativity charts and saw what time we was going to be born. And so they made both of us C's. They added the C's to keep up with us. They even got my second death in Revelation 2014. That was the year. That was the year I went through the second death. Revelation 2014. Go there, you'll see the second death there. That was the exact time I went through the second death. These people knew who I was. And the 4th of July is my birthday. Right. They made sure that they had a celebration going on so I wouldn't be recognized. To dumb me down out of the light. Right. I see your moves. Who you fooling? No, when I come, that's what said in Matthew 24. It will be shouted from the housetop, the stuff that's been hidden. There's nothing hidden that shall not be made known. Right, that it will be shouted from the housetop. Right, right. I'm here to expose it, because I'm the one to come. Look, I'm going to let you all go, but I'll be back. I'll be back. And whatever testimony you want, you have to tell me what you want, because I have no idea what you all are talking about testifying. I thought I came here to break generational curses. I thought testimony was for women to do. You know, I really did. I thought that they handle that kind of stuff in the churches. I'm here to do big time work, like taking these folk out of office here. Right. Right. I'm seeking to get this group together so we can get these people out of power here, so we can start ruling this world. It's time. But whatever testimony you got, I know what I've been through. I know where I'm from. I know who I am, and I know where I'm going. Right. So I can tell you all that. But it's time for that ex to be, I guess you all are going to arrest her. She's been out. You all have followed her, knowing her tracks. So you all know what she's done. Why should I have to testify about her deeds? You all have seen them. To me, that's a waste of time. Right. The Creator sees her. He sees everybody. It sees everybody. The Creator is the law, the eternal law. Right. That sustains and maintains everything. All the apples on the tree, the grapes on the vine, the cabbage in the ground, the strawberries, what you call it, the pineapple, right? They grow in Hawaii, right? The dates on the trees, the walnuts on the trees, right? The pecans on the trees, the oranges in Florida, right? Right, the lemons in California, right? Right, that's the law. The law. It will continue to bring forth its kind. The law is intelligent too. It speaks. Right. It's more intelligent than any man. Right. You see how it formed the flowers, all these different flowers? That's the law's operation. Not no Lord. It's law. They changed our names. The Hebrew name for word. It's law. 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 Law, not Lord. No. Lord has something to do with a man. Law. Every time you see Lord, think of law. Because that's what it is. It's the law operating everything. It pushes the sap up the trees. That's law. Cause the grass to grow again in the spring. That's law. Cause the birds to fly. That's law. You operate by law. There's nothing that doesn't move by law. How can you believe in a man, talk about some Jesus Christ, which was just the name these people made up? And they just made it up in the 16th century. Right, in the 16th century, they conjured up that name and gave it to the folks. And it ain't no Yahshua either. So cut that out. Yahshua was supposed to be Joshua. And it wasn't Joshua to come. It was me to come. I was the one to come. I don't have to prove it. You see the light. I am the light of the world. They know it. They already know it. They had my dates. They know when I was coming, when I was going to go through the second death. It's evident. Can't you see it? If I'm shifting every room and shifting the universe and stars, what more do you need? You're going to keep believing the lie? It wasn't no Jesus Christ, folk. That's something these Jews created. He's their king. He's the king of the Jews. And you already know what the Jews are. It tells you right there in Revelation, 2nd and 3rd chapter. You just go read it. I'm not making this up. This is the truth. And you got these people here that's making these videos every day, making plenty of videos that do screenshots. They say I'm fearful, but they don't even show their face. But I'm the one scared to let them tell it. I'm the one shrinking, and I'm all up around Orion's belt. I'm all circling around all these planets up here, over in other countries. But I'm shrinking and I'm small. Get out of here with that nonsense and see who's small. You earthbound, right there in front of that screen every day. But yet you're going to tell the people, I'm shrinking, I'm hiding. I'm out here on video. You got a screenshot. So who's hiding? Tell me, who's hiding? Who's hiding? Who's calling a fake name? Jesus Christ. It's a fake name you made up. And then adorning it with my characteristics. That's sickening to me. So you can push your color out there so it can be observed as somebody. Cut that nonsense out. I mean, cut it out. That's sickening to me. It makes me throw up all of this work I'm going through, and you've given that name my characteristics. Cut it out. That's sickening. That makes me throw up.